But like, when and why did you decide you wanted to become a career coach? And, you know, there's also this element of like empowering Latinas as well. And how did you know, like, you know, you wanted to be a career coach and want to focus on that?
Honestly, I think I always knew, and it really came from having one to figure it out by myself, but that really wasn't it because there's plenty of people who have to figure out their journeys on their own too. But for me, it was because I kind of always had like this inner guidance of what to do. For example, in high school, I wanted to take dual credit classes, meaning I wouldn't have to be as long in college, right? And earn college credit while I was in high school. And since I was a reader, I would read everything in detail. So I went to my high school counselor and told her, "Oh, I want to take dual credit classes." And she's like, "Well, why do you want to take dual credit classes?" I said, "Oh, because I want to be able to have college credits." And she's like, "Well, do you plan on going to community college?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know what I'm going to do." It was like a sophomore, right? Trying to plan my junior year. And she's like, "Well, if you take dual credit, it doesn't transfer over to universities." And of course, I don't know that it actually does. And I don't know why she decided to lie to me that way. And she encouraged me to take AP courses. And so I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I see y'all guys nodding y'all's head. So for those of you listening, watching, y'all don't know, schools get paid more money for AP courses than they do dual credit. I don't think they get any money. And so I was encouraged to do this, and I didn't question it then. I didn't understand it then. It wasn't until later that I realized that all of those other dynamics going on. And there was people like other peers of mine that did take those dual credit classes. They were like in the top 10 of our class. So obviously that person was talking to them too. You know, why do that to me? I mean, I don't know if she, obviously she wasn't trying to hurt me. Maybe she thought it was better for me, maybe, but without really knowing who I was. Like she doesn't know whether I'm a studious person or not. And I don't remember what my class rank was then, but I graduated 23. So it wasn't like I was, low on the on the ranking. On the other end too, because she didn't know me, I'm not a person who stays up late to study. And for an AP exam, you kind of do need that, right? Because you're proving that you don't need to take a course, you just need to take a test. And that's a special type of person, and that's not me. And so it was kind of moments like that in my life that reminded me that I knew what was best for myself. And then, I just had this pull of like, I need to empower others and especially other women to know that their inner guidance, their inner career coach is right, because so many people tell us that we're wrong. So, for example, before switching from working for a nonprofit to corporate world, I had been trying to go into higher education, and a lot of the advice that I got as a master's level degreed individual, oh, you got to get an entry level position. You mean I need to take a position making 25,000 that a recent college grad or even an undergrad currently is in? And that's the same message I kept getting from all levels, people who are at, assistant VPs. And it's like, that's what you would give advice to your loved one? I doubt it. I doubt they would be telling them that, right? You're a master's level professional. And so, I refused, and I also didn't get in either. But there's women that I interviewed in my research for my dissertation that they didn't do it they didn't do it the traditional way. And the thing is, men don't do it the traditional way either. No one's telling a man to take a $25,000 job, but they will tell a woman to do that. They will tell a woman to take on a role that is beneath them because they think that's the only way a woman could get in. And we really need to stop saying that. And you just got to accept, that you're right, no matter what kind of crazy, whoever it is it's telling you you shouldn't be doing something. Just trust yourself, because we know best on what is good for us.
That's so true. Society loves to gaslight women and tell us that we don't know what we're doing, we don't know anything, and then they just try to keep us down like that. But I'm really glad that you're a type of person who's like helping empower women. Like, no, you're right. Just follow your instinct. So my next question is, do you coach friends, and is there a person that helps you coach people?
And I typically don't coach, like, I mean, if they came for services, yes, but um not typically. Like if someone's telling me about their problem, I will usually just will listen, because in the past when I was younger and I've said things, people have said that I'm really blunt, but I really wasn't like I think I just learned over time that don't give people advice that don't ask for it, right? Like, you want to, you see it and you're like, this is your problem, right? And of course there's probably times people have thought that by me, like, this is your problem when you're venting, but you really don't want to hear that at that moment in time. Now if someone asks me like, oh, what do you think I should do, then I'll just kind of reflect it back to them so they can get to the answer that they want, because what I think they should do may not really be what works for them. And the last thing I want to do is tell someone to do something that doesn't work out for them. And I've seen that too. So back to that community college thing, I had that in the back of my head. I went to university. I didn't have any issues. But with my brother, I suggested to him to try community college, and he did. And he didn't end up finishing. And I feel bad about it. And of course, it was his choice. But, maybe his life would have been different had I encouraged him. I had not said anything, and he made that decision for himself. But, those types of moments kind of just make you reflect, like, okay, so this is why you don't want to be giving people advice. Just be encouraging and supportive.
You chose the words committed, confident, and caring to describe yourself. Why is that?
Yeah, so I had written some words for myself for the year. And then now I'm like trying to remember what you said. You said committed, caring, and
Confident.
confident. Yeah, so those are important to me because I'm committed to what I'm doing, to giving back and changing the world. And confident because I need the confidence. I'm not always confident, but I need the confidence to be able to do that. If I'm not confident, people aren't going to believe in my message, and then they're not going to believe in themselves. So I got to believe in me to be able to help others. And caring because a lot of times, I mean, you guys probably don't think this because this is the first time you meet me, but most people think that I'm not a caring person, but I'm so caring. And I just want people to know that I'm caring because I can like when people first meet me, I'm just a very reserved person. I don't have a lot of like facial expressions. And I think it's just my way of kind of gauging and experiencing others without like giving an impression, but maybe I should reverse that a little bit.
No, like do you. And I think that's so common, especially for women and women of color, like being told to like smile even all the time. And, if you're having like resting bitch face, for instance, like that's a common term for used for women. And, I remember being at my desk one day at work and being told like, or asked like why I'm not smiling while I'm concentrating on a project. And it's just like, these are not things that men hear, especially cis white men, like they do not hear this shit.
No, but I also wanted to ask you if you mind putting it out for our listeners to hear. You like your handle for Instagram to follow your career coaching. And also I actually just signed up for this prior to the call, but you have a course that you're putting on next month and on through Eventbrite that I just signed up for. So
Oh,
I'm
yay.
excited.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll speak to that a little bit because it doesn't really describe, um, that's the one thing I'm really terrible at. I need to get better, even though I have my PhD. I'm terrible at copywriting. And for those who may not know what copywriting is, just kind of like the written word, like a written word in an advertisement that tells people, pulls people in. And I'm such a concise person. Like I get straight to the point. So that's what makes it a little bit harder for me, but I'll get there. So I'm having a communications workshop that's just going to be very, very different. It's going to be about kind of grounding yourself and getting yourself to be able to enter any situation without feeling overwhelmed, right? We bring in a lot of our own emotions into meetings, into interactions, maybe even just going to spend time with family. We kind of bring up all the past hurts instead of all the past joys. So really trying to do that. And then on the other part of the workshop, it's going to be realizing what kind of words people are using in what type of programming they have. And by programming, I really mean just their mindset. There's certain things that we say that give us a clue as to what type of communicator we are. So to give you guys an example, because, and it took me a while and it took me being with a good friend who communicates in a whole different way than I do, but we're always saying the same thing. So for example, it's like me saying, this is the only White House in the block. And that person saying this, that house isn't blue. Right. And then we start arguing, but we're saying the same thing, and really kind of coming and cluing in on those types of things. And yeah, I'm super excited. I've already done it once and it was amazing. Now for my handle, it's like my podcast, Manifest Your Career, on Instagram. And my website is also that, manifestyourcareer.com. And then my other Instagram is Dr. Dr. Norma Reyes.